My students come and go, and what's going to be safe for them? Where are my teachers going to park? Our food delivery guy, what is he going to do, and how is he going to get us our lunches?
As Cincinnati City Council decides what to do about a bikeway on Central Parkway, the director of a charter school has a lot of questions about how that bike lane will affect her school. Good evening. It's possible that after today's City Council meeting, the school's concerns could be a moot point.
That's because a couple of motions brought up in front of Cincinnati City Council today could result in either a change in plans to run a bike lane down Central Parkway or the death of the project. Local 12's Rich Jaffe joins us live from the area in question with a look at the plan and the parkway. Rich.
Curtis, the proposed plan would take this inside parking lane on each side of Central Parkway and turn it into a bike lane with a floating parking lane in between. Now, since we first started reporting on this project a couple of weeks ago, the scrutiny on it has taken on a life of its own. And right now, that plan could either be looking at a change or it could be dead right there in the water. I wanted to see just what a bike lane down Central Parkway would feel like. So we went to the garage at OTR. You probably know it as the home of segways. After a little instruction, I headed out on a very cool electric bike. Once on Central Parkway, the first thing I noticed is how exposed you feel to the traffic. And even in the late morning, there's quite a bit of it. The idea of dedicated bike lanes here would indeed be nice. Not too far into the trip, I met the folks at CSR Academy, a charter school. They said they only found out about the bikeway plan a couple of weeks ago, even though city officials say it's been under discussion for 18 months. What went through your mind when you heard what they were planning to do?
How am I going to have my students come and go, and what's going to be safe for them? Where are my teachers going to park? Parents are going to start asking questions, so that's going to be a concern. Need to make arrangements for busing for next year, so I need to, communicate with them and let them know.
Chapman's not the only one concerned about the plan. A group of business owners in this building is also worried about parking issues. So today, Vice Mayor David Mann offered up two resolutions to council. One would invest city money to slightly alter the route and provide 23 parking spaces in front of their building. If council can't agree on that plan, the other, emergency motion, would kill the project entirely by repealing the ordinance that accepted the federal funding for it. Seeing the possible writing on the wall, those motions inspired a vitriolic response from council members in favor of the proposed plan.
There is absolutely no reason that this should be held up.
We have a business person who's renovated a building. He's brought in 12 tenants. He's provided 60 new jobs to the city. He says that maintaining parking in front of the building is important to maintaining the jobs, and I think we ought to respond to that. There's a way to fix that.
Now, as a result of those motions, there's an emergency meeting of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee tomorrow, and then there's an emergency meeting of council to hear the motions read in full, and then it could also be heard once again at council's full hearing next Wednesday. So there's a lot of activity here. The bottom line, it looks like either this proposal is going to change to reflect the need for parking, or else it's going to be dead right there. In over the Rhine, Rich Jaffe, Local 12 News. Curtis?
Hey, Rich, loved your approach on that story. That electric bike you were riding, do you need a license for one of those?
As a matter of fact, you don't. They're really considered bicycles, but I will tell you what, those things scoot. And as a mode of transportation downtown Cincinnati, I thought that thing was great. Come on down, go to the garage, rent yourself one, Curtis. They'll fit it out perfectly for you.
I don't think I will look as good on one as you did. Thanks, Rich. This is the first time the bike lane issue will be heard by the Transportation Committee. Earlier this week, it pretty much got approval from the city's Neighborhoods Committee, but the majority of council members on that committee are not on the Transportation Committee. In order to move ahead, the city must agree to accept federal funding by May 1st.